What's up, guys? It is the Bad Wolf. 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 Today we're going to be talking about motions. Now, what exactly is a motion? No, not the motion in the ocean, although we are talking about commerce and maritime admiralty jurisdiction. So I guess there might be a little motion in there, if you know what I mean. But a motion in court, what is it? Are you guys ready? Some of y'all never heard of this. And if you did, I guarantee you never heard half of what we're about to cover. The seminars are coming along, so we're doing really good there. I'm almost ready to start releasing those. We'll see how that works. Maybe you guys will like them, maybe you won't. I'm gonna try to make some for free, some low cost, and some at the fair price that I should charge for. But in general, as always, I will always over deliver because that's how we do it here. As you see, Bad Wolf logo, go. A little cool dude right there. Anyway, so don't forget to support blacksite32.com, also known as badwolf.unincorporated.com and jamesclovett.com. Thank you to people out there like Ramen and everybody else who have been sending in the donations. I do see them, though they have been slow. That is okay. I get it. It's the holidays, and well, everybody's broke. Or paying the bills. Happy but fat, right? All right. So we are at 77,000 subscribers. We got another 20 or 30 who have not subscribed. So if you guys are one of those who have not, what are you waiting for? Let's get it in there like swimwear, all right? So appreciate everything. Let's get to 100. So then I can put the button right there, which will be a silver one, or whatever the first one is that you get. From there, probably won't ever get one of the top ones, the million people. That's people seem to be more entertained by, you know, Diddy and this and that and blah 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 blah. Education and I should say entertainment versus education. There's a difference. All right. One gives back to the other one, and the other one takes. You don't know the difference, then the system has already done its job. All right. So feel free to head up the website. And as always, guys, join me on my other YouTube channel. We only have about 3,700 on that one, and that is the Bad Wolf Media channel. Um, I don't know. I may change the name to Bad Wolf Unlimited. I don't know yet. We'll see. Because we're going to basically talk about everything over there. And I can have a little bit more freedom, shall we say. So with that being said, without further ado, I think we should just get into it. I think that's covering. I got tons of new videos for the year. The consultations are back up and running as of now. And yeah, I got lots to cover. I mean, lots to cover. So y'all ready? Y'all ready for this? All right. So let's get started. All right. So first of all, let's pop up a screen here. Okay. And all right. If you guys didn't know, Black Laws Dictionary, the 12th edition is now out. I have mine ordered and I can't wait to go through it. Um, so we're gonna see what changes and what additions they have made. All right, but what is a motion in court? A motion is a written request or proposal to the court. Sometimes these are also known as a writ, okay? To get an asked for order, ruling, or direction. So basically, you're telling them this is what I want to see happen, okay? There are a variety of motions, and it has become standard practice to file certain motions with the court based on the type of case. So there are a large amount of motions. You can throw motions at them all day. I would recommend one at a time because if you do them all at the same time, they might try to just rule all of these are frivolous without actually reading each one in. Okay. So now, I was just stumbling around the internet as always, and I found some good information. So a shot goes out there to all the groups, all the people out there who follow my channel, hell, even my haters, and I know who you are. Uh, you might think I don't hear, but I do. I just don't acknowledge your names. Uh, I know there are individuals of the same color. I know there are some X's, not my color, who watch. I know there's some municipalities, police officers, departments out there, schools, and various other things around the world. So it's amazing how many eyes can find this little channel. And all we're doing here is sharing some education and light, not making up anything at all. I show you guys literally all of it, where it comes from. And it ain't from me writing my own books, which I may do that in the future. Ad-libbing, it's from their books. And if my source comes through, I'm going to have a collection of books that's going to dwarf all of this on all in court cases, law, constitutional rulings, opinions, all of that. That comes through. I don't even know where I'm going to put these books. I might have to like create some kind of ceiling based book stand because it's supposed to be a lot. A whole entire law firm through a connection went out of business, and they're just like, we've got all these books for free that we're going to get rid of or whatever, and we can't let that happen. Sorry. So we'll see. All right, let's get back to it. Happy New Year's, everybody. Happy positive 2025. And let's take a gander. All right.
Do not simply download the motions and change the names. If you are facing criminal charges, you must seek the help of an experienced criminal defense lawyer. If you do not find what you are looking for here, visit the custom order page. Post-conviction motion for resentencing. This motion seeks resentencing.
Okay, so the first one here is called a post conviction motion for resentencing. And then the AI is going to go through and tell you what it means, what that particular motion is for. Anybody can file a motion on your own case, and it is recommended to file it before. So instantly when something happens, you should be looking up or getting in contact with somebody to figure out what motion. Okay, now I just call it a writ, and I call mine an affidavit of facts or something along those lines, because I we don't have to use their words. They like it because they understand it better, but there's no law that says we have to. If they can read it and understand what you're hate to use the same word, but motioning for them to do, then they should do it. But there are some other tricks that go along with emotion. All right. And that's what's going to be in the seminars are going to be all of my tips, tricks, and techniques over the last, you know, 30 plus years of doing this. All right. That have worked. And I will break down why they work and why you need to use those tips and things. So, but without further ado, for the third time now, I think, let's get back to it. Once again, I appreciate each and every one of you guys.
Resentencing on the grounds that the original sentence imposed was contrary to law. The judge, without conducting a hearing, administratively corrected the sentence, but the defendant argues that the corrected sentence fails to give him the credit that the original sentencing judge intended.
So, did you hear that? So this motion seeks to resentence. So he's already been sentenced, but to resentence it on the grounds that the original sentence imposed was contrary to the law. It didn't follow the law. How the judge and them came to figure we're going to give you X amount of years for this. He's saying this is contrary to the law. This goes against the law, my rights. So after the conviction. So post conviction. So he's already been convicted and sentenced. But now he's filing a motion to be resentenced. Like, look, I know I'm not getting out, probably because he did something criminal, but they didn't follow the law. He didn't find any flaws, imperfections, remedies, or ultimate rights to get him out of whatever he did, or she did, or they. But I just think that I wasn't sentenced by law. Okay, so he must have found something in there that was opposed to or contrary to the law. So they didn't do something quite right. So with that being said, let's keep going. All right, you guys get it now.
Intended. Important update. The motion was granted and the defendant was granted resentencing. Motion to dismiss complaint. This motion seeks dismissal of the criminal complaint because the complaint fails to allege sufficient facts to constitute probable cause. Motion to dismiss complaint for failure to allege time with specificity. A criminal complaint must allege the time of the offense with sufficient specificity to permit the defendant to prepare a defense. This motion seeks to dismiss the criminal complaint because it fails to allege the time of the offense with sufficient specificity. Motion to dismiss complaint due to multiplicity. The defendant was charged with several counts of child neglect. The prosecutor charged a separate neglect count for each thing that should have been done for the child, but which was left undone. The defendant argues that this is multiplicitous charging because child neglect is a single, continuing offense. Motion to dismiss complaint because the charge violates substantive due process. The criminal complaint alleges that the defendant committed child neglect by not disclosing child abuse to the healthcare providers. This motion seeks to dismiss the complaint because it violates substantive due process by criminalizing the defendant's Fifth Amendment privilege to avoid self-incrimination. Motions to dismiss information. This motion seeks dismissal of the criminal information for the reason that the evidence presented at the preliminary hearing was insufficient to establish probable cause. Motion to suppress evidence. This is a pre-trial motion that is filed in Wisconsin criminal cases seeking suppression of evidence for the reason that the evidence was seized by police in violation of the Fourth Amendment. Unreasonable warrantless search and seizure. Motion to suppress evidence on the grounds of an illegal strip search. Recently, the Milwaukee police have been conducting numerous strip searches, and almost all of them are illegal because the statutory requirements are not satisfied. This is a motion to suppress evidence on the grounds that the statutory requirements for a strip search were not present. Motion suppress evidence seized from interior of vehicle. Since the United States Supreme Court's recent decision in Arizona v. Gant, the ability of the police to search the interior of a vehicle is severely limited. This motion seeks to suppress evidence on seized from the interior of a vehicle. Motion to suppress a statement stalking horse. The defendant's car was stopped by police, and it was discovered that a passenger had heroin on her person. The police lacked probable cause to arrest the defendant, so they prevailed upon the defendant's probation officer to issue a probation hold. The officers then interrogated the defendant. The defendant seeks to suppress his statement because the police used the probation officer as a stalking horse. Motion brief in opposition to the state's motion for forfeiture by wrongdoing. The state filed a motion seeking to have a homicide victim's audio-recorded statement to police concerning an earlier shooting incident played during the defendant's homicide trial. This brief opposes the state's claim of forfeiture by wrongdoing because the state's offer of proof fails to establish that, if the defendant killed the victim, that the defendant's motive was to make the victim unavailable as a witness in the present case. Motion to suppress evidence because arresting officer used a defective notice of intent to revoke form in an OWI case. Beginning in early 2011, the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Department and other suburban police departments started using a computer-generated notice of intent to revoke form. The computer-generated form does not have statutorily mandated warnings on it. Therefore, this motion seeks to suppress the test result. or, in the alternative, it seeks to deny the test result its statutory automatic admissibility. Motion to suppress. Defective warrant. This motion seeks suppression of evidence for the reason that the warrant application failed to establish probable cause. Motion to suppress blood test results. This motion seeks suppression of the blood test results in an OWI case because the officers lacked probable cause to arrest the defendant for operating under the influence of alcohol. Motion to
Now that one's a good one. I do not condone OWI or anything like that, but you do have your rights. Okay. Now each state is different. I just came across this information, or this particular site from a law firm. They were one of the few that actually had a lot of this information. So you have to check with whatever state you're actually in to see what's going on. But you're getting an idea of understanding that these motions are real and that you can laser sword, okay, and use these motions for your defense. All right.
To exclude witnesses. If the defendant in a Wisconsin criminal case files a discovery demand, and if the state fails to serve a witness list within a reasonable time before trial, the law provides that the court may exclude all state's witnesses. This motion seeks imposition of that sanction. Motion to identify confidential informant. In Wisconsin criminal cases, the state has the privilege to refuse to identify confidential informants, except if the informants are transactional witnesses. This motion seeks to compel the state to identify confidential informants. Motion to admit evidence of other violent acts by the victim. In a criminal case, if the defendant raises the privilege of self-defense, the law permits the defendant to introduce evidence of other violent acts by the victim. This motion seeks admission of such acts. Motion for change of venue. This motion seeks a change of venue due to extensive pretrial publicity. This motion was filed in the matter of State versus Theodore Oswald, and it was granted by the court.
So this might be something that Diddy might try to get, is a change of venue, because there's extensive pretrial publicity, right? So this would be something he could use to try to help his situation. It's also one of the reasons why he's paid his people, his goons, have been out there interviewing people on YouTube who've been talking about his case, who have substantially large followings. Because depending on what those people say, they're generating influence on either his innocence or his guilt. And there is sway out there. I mean, I'll say this. As an educated man, I'm not easily swayed by any of that stuff, but I will look at all the evidence. But the average person, they'll listen to things over and over and over and then say, well, that must be what it is, without doing any research or anything in depth. So a lot of people are simple or they're sheeple. So that could be something that he could use right here. If he had a good team, that'd be one of the things right here. But let's keep going.
Court. Motion for change of venue due to pretrial publicity. This is another version of a motion for change of venue. In addition to seeking a change of venue, the motion seeks to conduct individual voir dire and to sequester the jury during the trial. Motion for involuntary intoxication jury instruction. The defendant in this case took an Ambien pill and went to bed. Later, he got out of bed, drove his car, and he was charged with operating under the influence of a controlled substance. An expert witness offered the opinion that, due to the effects of Ambien, the defendant was sleepwalking at the time he was driving his car. Therefore, the defendant has requested an involuntary intoxication jury instruction.
Okay. So they're saying that because he was on medication and wasn't 100% aware of his or hers, I think it was, he in this case, actions, that they should not go after him, that he had full consciousness and awareness of his actions. Okay, just let that ponder for a moment.
Instruction. Next page. Are you looking for family law, divorce?
All right.
Motion seeks to bar a retrial.
So this is a motion on double jeopardy. Okay. And a motion for a mistrial.
Retrial, and to dismiss the charges on double jeopardy grounds, where the defendant moved for, and received a mistrial, on the grounds that the state had deliberately concealed exculpatory evidence from the defense.
So they're saying that the state hid evidence that could have proven that this person was innocent. Can't do that, but you also have to request it. And if they requested it and they still hid it, such as like let's say the camera footage or the audio is no longer available, or you tried to get the cops' notes on it and they wouldn't grant it to you, and they don't qualify for a FOIA request, but they hid the information. They have to have it. They have it, or they got rid of it, or even if the system deleted it, you don't have the information that could, free me. Well, then I motion for a mistrial. You don't have the evidence. Just because the charge is there, if they what is their evidence that convicts you, which is discovery. Request discovery. Put in a motion for discovery. I want to know everything you guys have. Oh, you don't have it anymore? Mistrial.
Defense. Motion to withdraw guilty plea. Immigration warning. This motion seeks to withdraw a guilty plea for the reason that, at the plea hearing, the judge failed to give the defendant the mandatory immigration warning.
Now, that one's something I don't know too much about, but it sounds like somebody was an immigrant or something, and there should have been a warning specifically for those people, but it was not provided. So that's a violation.
Motion to withdraw guilty plea. This is another version of a motion to withdraw guilty. Motion to withdraw guilty plea. In this motion to withdraw a guilty plea, the defendant claims that he received ineffective assistance of counsel in that his trial counsel failed to adequately investigate the cause of death, i.e., whether the Suboxone pill given to the victim could possibly have caused death, and whether giving this pill to the victim was criminally reckless behavior.
So here what they're doing is they apparently said, he pled guilty, but now he wants to withdraw that because he's saying that his own counsel failed to adequately investigate the cause of DEATH, unalive. So if you find that your counsel is incompetent, withdraw your plea. This is how you do it. A lot of people think you're stuck with some of these mooks. But you're not. You just have to know your rights.
Behavior. Sentencing memorandum. This
And
is an
options.
example of a sentencing memorandum which sets forth each of the proper sentencing considerations by the court, and the memorandum argues that the defendant ought to be placed on probation. Memorandum in support of federal habeas corpus petition.
Now, habeas corpus, this is a good one right here. Okay? Listen to this one. This one can actually help a lot of people, and we've already used this. Listen carefully.
Petition. The petitioner was convicted in state court of 3 counts of first-degree intentional homicide. He argues in federal court that the state courts violated his constitutional rights because his motion for a new trial was denied without conducting a hearing.
Did you hear that? So even though this guy's got a homie on him, he's saying that the state courts violated his constitutional rights because his motion for a new trial. So he put in a motion. He said, "Hey, you know what I would like is a new trial," and it was denied. Not that it couldn't be denied, but it was denied without conducting a hearing. That's the problem. They denied him without a hearing. The judge said, "Nope, denied." He didn't get heard. They have to hear what he's got to say. The judge cut him off at the pass. Can't do that.
Hearing. Motion for release pending appeal. This is a motion to have the defendant released from jail pending an appeal from his criminal conviction and sentence.
Bad wolf. Bad wolf. Bad wolf. Oh, yeah. Now you guys have a glimpse across the bar. This is all that lawyers do, is they figure out which way they're going, how they're going to motion, which motions they're going to put in there. And they submit them. Now, obviously, there's a little bit more to the game, but what I've showed you is how to move your bishop properly. Don't worry, we'll get you guys there. Be looking for those seminars coming out soon on blacksite32.com on the seminars page. When those are up, those people who have got the newsletter will get the first ability to get into the free ones. I think the free ones can hold up to 200 or 300 people. Those people will get in for free. For the free ones, after that, there won't be any space. I may or may not re-upload that or whatever else we'll see. The low cost ones will be that's what they are, and the full price will be the full price ones. But as always, we're gonna make it do what it do. We're gonna bring you guys some good information. Everything that we're bringing forward is only stuff that impresses me, and as a man who's hard to impress, I'm pretty sure you guys will be impressed by it as well. That's why it takes me a long time to put things together, because I like them to be spot on. I want to enrich your souls, your lives, your path moving forward, not take from it like so many other people out there. As always, guys, if you see anybody using any of my images, likenesses, logos, and whatnots, or trying to make me look silly or whatever else, report them for bullying, slandering, and defamation of character. As always, take care of yourselves and each other. This is the second video I've made in the new year, so I'm still on vacation, technically, though we've done 1 or 2 consults. We will be up and running in the next week. So bang, bang, baby. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Thanks. Enjoy your day. Wolf. No? Okay. I'll show you guys something cool. You don't want to leave. All right. So I'm not going to make a whole video on this because it makes sense to, but so this right here is an embosser. You know, on the bottom of your birth certificates and certain other documents, they have that little ridgy paper circle thing with their little logo and state of, Virginia and or whatever else around it. So I got my own, which is similar to the ink stamper. Okay. So when I send my documents out, now it's acting funny today. Or maybe I didn't squeeze it hard enough. I can't really see it. All right, but anyway, it embosses and leaves my print and logo on there. So, because I'm stamping, flagging my vessel. Piece of paper is a vessel transporting a good service or my words from one place to another. Maritime jurisdiction.